I'm Victoria Pearson, but you can call me V, and today is my birthday. Yay! I am 38 today. My husband has taken the day off work to spend the day with me. He's not told me where we're going yet. He's just gone to take the little one to school to give me some time to get ready. So come get ready with me. We will talk about aging and stuff because topical, you know. Okay, so this might be a bit weird because I've never used a camera to do my makeup in before. And so eye contact might get a bit weird. I'm going to look like I'm looking up there because I'm checking what I'm doing to my actual face. I don't know where I'm going today. Probably somewhere outdoors, but I'm going to wear a dress with long sleeves and some of those leggings that look like tights underneath it, just in case we do end up outside for hours and hours and hours, which is quite likely. That dress also has pockets, so I can just stick a mask in my pocket and I don't have to bother carrying a handbag. I've already done all my skincare stuff because I didn't want you to have to sit there while I was putting layers and layers of stuff on my face. I probably should have tied my hair up out the way though, really, shouldn't I? So I'm going to start with my contour. This is a Technic contour, which I use because it's cheap, but I probably wouldn't recommend to anybody else because very limited shade range, and I am really, really pale, and half of it doesn't even show up on my face. Look, this is the blush, and you can't even really see it. You could possibly use it as a highlighter again. I feel like I'm going to have to do that on the other side as well now, just in case it does put a bit of highlight through, but basically rub, gone. And I am really, really pale, so I can't see that working on anyone else's skin tone. But I do like the contour stick. I feel like it works quite well and blends quite easily. None of which is what I was supposed to be talking about, because if you're watching this as a how-to makeup tutorial, don't, because I'm rubbish. I'm not very good at being feminine and stuff. I do my best. So, birthday, aging. I'm 38 today. Can't remember if I told you that in the intro already. Yes, I am putting lipstick on my face. Mind your business. So, on Twitter the other day, they were doing, I'm sure they were doing it on other platforms as well, but 10-year challenge, because New Year, I guess, is why. And so people were sharing pictures of them from 10 years ago and then pictures of them today. And so I happened to have a look at pictures of me when I was 28, just a couple of days ago. And what really struck me about that is at 28, I was really, really worried about aging. I was concerned about my skin looking older. I really felt like I was running out of time to do stuff. Like, you've got to do everything by the time you're 30. I suppose that's quite normal for a lot of women. But for me, it wasn't like a biological clock type thing, because I already had kids. So I don't know what that was all about, because now that I looked back at those pictures of the old 10-year challenge, I realised that actually I had really, really nice skin then. There wasn't a single trace of aging on my skin then, not like now. And I don't really know what I was fussing about, to be honest. I mean, I didn't have a clue how to do my eyebrows, let's be honest. They looked a right mess. Well, actually, they didn't. You couldn't see them because I didn't realise that they weren't really visible on camera because they're too blonde. So I didn't used to do anything with them. I was scared of doing anything to them and making them look all sluggy and weird. And so, yeah, my eyebrows looked a right state, I don't mind telling you. But my skin looked great, and I don't know what I was worried about. Weird thing though, now I'm 38, and all that worry about aging and stuff has just sort of dissolved away. I don't know why. I don't know what made me suddenly realise that it wasn't that bad. I don't know where all the sudden sort of confidence came from. But I realised, looking at those pictures, that I'm just not bothered by aging in the way that I was before, which is weird, because you would think that like 10 years in to feeling that way, you'd feel worse about it, right? It's not like I'm getting younger. Like, no, I do have visible wrinkles and stuff like that, age spots, all that sort of business. And so, yeah, I don't know what I was so bothered about when I was 28, but I really, really was. I think that must be some kind of media messaging, you know, all these things that you've got to do before you're 30, and all these people that achieved all these things by the time they're 30. And even the messaging of, oh, 30 isn't too late, kind of makes you feel like it is. Otherwise, why would you people be saying this to me all the time, right? So yeah, I just constantly felt like I was running out of time to do stuff, blah 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 blah. But now I feel okay. So I couldn't work out what had changed really, and so I decided, in my wisdom, to ask Twitter. That always works well, don't it? And so I said to Twitter, those of you that are over 35-ish, tell me something good about getting older. And I was inundated, to be honest, with replies. I was surprised at how many people responded, actually. And I couldn't possibly tell you all of the responses, but I will try and remember to link it in the description, the tweet itself, so that you can have a look at the replies. Just covering up all these awful spots that I've woken up with this morning. And a bit of them in my bags. I don't want to put too much product under my eyes because then it settles into my wrinkles. It's always this toss-up between trying to correct the really dark circles under my eyes and also trying not to look like a wrinkly old baggage. But yeah. So, I spoke to Twitter. I said, tell me something that is good about ageing. And of course it's Twitter. So of course I got a lot of sort of comments that said things like, I can't, or, you know, it's better than the alternative, or even, you know, don't do it, it's a trap, the floor's far away and hangovers last a week and it takes forever to get back up when you've bent down to tie your shoes, which is valid. But I was looking for more positives than that, to be honest, and I did get quite a lot of them. One of my favourite responses was from my insomniac friend, who said it's one step closer to the big sleep, which I just, it did make me giggle. But like I say, I was looking for the more positive sort of responses, and I did get a lot of them. I think this is a highlighter, by the way, but I kind of use it as a concealer as well. This is one of those Technic things as well. They came in a free pack with the contour and the highlight and the blush thing. They're super cheap, but like I say, they're not very pigmented. Like, I'm one of the lightest skin tones, and it doesn't really change my skin tone much at all. And so if you're any way darker than me, I'll probably be rubbish for you. And they're not very pigmented either, but it's very good if you want to have a very bit of light coverage. I'm finding it very difficult to talk about aging and do my makeup at the same time. Probably should have done this on a voiceover, shouldn't I? But yeah, so most of the responses that I got said something along the lines of, I've become more confident. Quite a few women did say that over 35 you've become invisible to men, and that means you get a massive reduction in street harassment. I'm not entirely convinced that that's to do with aging, though. I think that might be to do with holding yourself with a bit more confidence, a bit more self-assurance. Makes you a little bit more sort of intimidating, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for. Lots of folk said that they give less of a shit now about what other people think about them. And I think that's a bit of a double-edged one. Because it is absolutely great to not give a shit about what people that you don't like or respect think about things. But I think that it's always worth making sure that we are open to criticism, especially as we get older and our values and ideas become more entrenched as we age. Because once you stop sort of taking on board what some other people say, then you're never going to get the growth that you need. You're never going to get the sort of openness that you need to be able to achieve proper growth. And I think that that's really important. I think it's a fantastic thing to not give a shit about the opinions of people that you don't like or care about or respect in any way. That's fantastic. But we do open ourselves up to the danger of becoming entrenched in our ideals if we're never open to criticism. I'm going to give you an example because I'm talking all around it. So last week, the week before, something like that, somebody that I like and respect very much unfollowed me on all platforms because, well, I think because she didn't tell me, but I think it was because one of my videos a couple of weeks ago made it look like I was just bopping all around town without a mask on at all. Now, she is a disabled person, she's shielding, She has been shielding since the beginning of the pandemic and is finding it very frustrating that able-bodied people are not being more supportive about how they use it in public spaces, which means that she's more trapped inside than she needs to be. And I was upset about this. I was very upset about this because I like her, I respect her, I'm going to miss her, but mainly I was upset because she was right. She was right. I wasn't being mindful enough of how I was using public spaces. I was being selfish. And although I wasn't actually walking around without a mask on for the whole day, like it might have seemed like I was from the video, I was still behaving in a way that was fairly risky for the people around me. I was mindful of people around me, and I didn't take my mask off at all when there were crowds of people around or anything like that, but I could still have been being more careful, and I knew that. And so I was mostly upset because I knew that this person was actually right. It was something that I hadn't thought about beforehand, and so I was thoughtless. It made me quite sad that I had been that thoughtless, actually. But it mattered to me because I respected that person's opinion, and I know that they generally come from a really good place. And so, yeah, they were right. I was out of order with that. So she was right about that. And that's why it was upsetting to me, actually, because I knew that I could have done better, should have done better. And I value that person's opinion very much. And so their opinion matters to me. I can't sit around crying about it because that isn't going to make any difference whatsoever. And I'm old enough and wise enough to know that being upset about it might make me feel very self-indulged about it, but it isn't going to actually practically change anything. And so the very best thing that I can do in that situation is just change my behaviour in future, which I will. Does that mean I'll get my friend back? No. And that is fair and reasonable of her to be mad about it, really. But I am old enough to know now that all I can do is learn from that situation, and that sitting about being sad isn't actually going to make any difference to either of us. Contrast that with the man that keeps swinging into my comment section on here to get really, really angry about my necklace choice. Mate, I don't care, because I don't value this person's opinion. I don't know this person. They don't seem to be offering me a perspective that shows where I have been harmful or need to change my behaviour in some way. They're literally just getting mad about my necklace. And so for me, that isn't something worth losing sleep over. That is something that I can very much just shake off, because that is just a person that needs to get something more important to be mad about, and they're just wasting their energy. And I kind of feel a bit sorry for them, actually, because obviously the more they comment, the more YouTube is going to show them my content, because YouTube doesn't understand the difference between you hate comments and you like comments. And so the more you get mad about my necklace, the more YouTube is going to show you my videos. And I post every day and twice on Monday and Tuesdays. So you're going to see a lot of me, mate. Just scroll by. It'll be happier for us all, because I'm definitely not going to sit here and change my necklace just because some dude doesn't like it. In fact, I probably would have changed it a lot quicker if some dude hadn't been telling me to take it off and change it. See, I don't think you can see this very well on camera, but when I look in the mirror below, it looks quite heavy. But on camera, it looks fairly light. I am using at the moment the Wet n Wild Colour Icon palette, which has got a nice little range of shades in, actually. And I don't use many. I use this as a colour corrector. I use this one on my lids, and I tend to use this one. I don't use these, they're very dark, but I think you could use them as eyeliners and stuff. Or if you've got, you know, a bit more pigment to your skin tone, it'll probably look really good on you. But yeah, I thought that was quite a fairly good all-rounder. But yeah, so I think it is a massive gift that I no longer spend my time on people that don't matter and what their opinions are of me, because I really don't care what some stranger on the internet thinks of my necklace. But when it's people whose opinions I value, I think that does matter. And I think it's really important to keep ourselves open to criticism about that sort of thing, because that just stops us becoming all set in our ways and over time becoming bigoted, you know. So yeah, I guess that the wisdom that comes with age there is that you don't have to entertain everybody's every thought about you. Just take what matters, and being that bit older, it becomes easier to see what actually matters and whose opinions actually matter. And while I do care about the opinions of those that I respect, I really can't give a damn what you think about my necklace. Stop commenting, scroll by, we'll all be happier now. That's the wisdom that comes with age. So, another theme that came up a lot on Twitter was the idea of freedom, actually. I suppose it is very freeing to no longer care what people think about you. So there's that side of things for one side. But also the freedom to do stuff. So I now have the freedom to stay up as late as I want. The fact that I only want to stay up till 9 p.m. is irrelevant. If I wanted to, I could stay up all night long. Some people spoke about the freedom to lay in really late in the mornings. My youngest is 8. I don't have that freedom yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it. It's very difficult to talk and do mascara at the same time. I have new respect for beauty bloggers that do this now. Like, how do you even? You might notice that I don't do the mascara mouth though. I'll tell you for why. Because when I first got with my husband about 20 years ago, I was doing my mascara at the mirror, doing the mascara face. For those of you that don't know, this is the mascara face. And as I was doing that, my husband stuck his finger in my mouth, making me poke myself in the eye with the mascara wand. And I have kept my mouth closed ever since. He has no recollection of this. He told me the other day, why don't you do the mascara face? Well, that is why. Because I was traumatized. So, we talked about being more free. We talked about sleeping in. Some people talked about elasticated waists and the freedom that come with elasticated waists. And I have to say that I have started to choose my clothes based more on... Oh, I didn't blend that. Oh dear. I've started to choose my clothes based more on like how comfortable they make me feel, how does the fit feel, how does the fabric feel, and I am lots more comfy than I was in my 20s when I picked things based on how they looked and didn't think much about how I was going to practically wear them. And because of that, I feel like I look better now. I look more confident, I look more assured, I know what suits me better. And yeah, comfortable clothes, comfort, that makes you feel confident. And confidence is always sexy, always. One of the other things that came up though in the freedom concept was this idea of having access to all these things that we didn't have as teenagers. You know, like if you wanted the Lego Death Star as a child, and obviously your parents said no because they're really expensive, right? Well, there's nothing to stop you from just going to buy that now. If you fancy listening to all of the best music from every decade between the 50s and now, that's just a click of a button away. That's a pretty good thing about getting older, although I think that's probably more to do with getting older in this day and age. But even before we had the internet to give us access to those things, most people find that as they get older, they start to get a little bit more disposable income. Again, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't got there yet. Yes, I am just putting eyeliner on the inner corner of my eye because I have hooded eyes. I don't want to close them up and make them look small. So, we've got all this freedom, we've got all this access to all this different stuff, and that is very, very cool. Like I say, it's Twitter, so there were quite a few joke answers. There were quite a few people saying, I can't tell you anything good about aging, or people saying stuff about how we're just a bit closer to death now. It's very edgy Twitter, well done. But there were quite a few people. Sorry about that. There are quite a few people who answered in a much more poignant way as well. I'm going to actually read you one of those now. Shona said that she is grateful every day for the privilege of getting to 45 when her own mum only reached 38. And that was quite a deep one, especially since I'm turning 38. That was quite, wow. The idea that I still feel like I'm just starting, and there are people whose lives only got to this length. And so, yeah, massive reasons to be grateful there. And because every day really is a gift. Corinne also shared that she retrained at 38 and found a vocation, found a job that she really, really loves. And that's made her really happy. A few different people have said that their anxiety has improved massively as they've aged, and imposter syndrome as well. Somebody said to me that it's hard to have imposter syndrome when you're sort of knocking on retirement's door. You faked it for this long, it's probably not fake, you know. That sounds pretty good to me. Although, yeah, I would probably still feel like a bit of an imposter, but maybe I'd feel like a really good imposter, you know, an imposter that managed to fool everybody. That's pretty good, huh? A few different people as well also said that they now have the strength to say no to things. I'm still working on that one. I'm still very much working on that one. But I'm getting there, and it's feeling easier now for some reason. I don't know why, but it is feeling a little bit easier to sort of guard my own time and my own boundaries like that. Someone told me that you finally realise that no one else knows what they're doing either. I don't know if that's brilliant or really scary. I mean, it's brilliant that I'm not the only one that doesn't know what's going on in my life, but it is a little bit worrying. Like, where are all the grown-ups? I need an adult. I am the adult. Oh no, that's not a good thing. It's all going wrong. My friend actually asked me why I put my foundation on over the top of my contour. I just do it because I think all the contour and blush just shines through better that way and just makes it look a bit more natural. I don't know, what do you reckon? Just evening out all that contouring that I did. How do, won't it? This is getting a little bit long now. So I'm going to tell you a few of my favourites quickly. I'm going to read them out to you, and then I think this makeup will probably do. We'll spray some sunscreen on, and then you can help me choose my outfit. So, a few of my favourites before we wrap up. Shona added to the end of her thoughts about her mum that, like a good curry, life gets richer and deeper with a little time. I love that. Love that turn of phrase. And that is one of the best things about following so many writers on Twitter, is that you do get that kind of poetry just in your mundane conversations. I love that. Another writer that I follow, who is Twitter's favourite uncle, Wombat37, Michael Wombat's written loads of books, but he also does things like Sausage League and Pie Cricket and Twanter and all these different things on Twitter. Everybody loves Wombat. He said, when I said people over 35, he said, I'm twice that, and I tell you it's champion. Yes, you gather more experience and a damn sight more trivia in your brain, but perhaps better than anything is the dawning realisation that everything has some wonder to show us, if only we could take a breath to look. And the changing colours of your hair, gorgeous, and the not caring whether people see you skipping along the woodland path, marvellous. My writing keeps improving the older I get. Getting old is a gift. Mind you, on the downside, your toenails turn to ugly lumpen boulders. Really hoping that's just a him thing. Maybe I can skip that one. Not sure. There is, as I say, loads and loads more. I got inundated with replies on this, and I was bowled over by the response. And I'm going to try and remember to my mirror just fell over. I'm going to try and remember to link that original tweet in the description for you, so that you can go and have a little explore through the comments, because there's some funny ones in there, there's some sad ones in there, there's some poignant ones in there, and there's just so much good advice in there as well. I am going to end this, though, on my absolute favourite. And I can't find this reply now. I wrote it down at the time. I can't find who said it to credit them for it. But they just said simply, I like myself a whole lot more. And I think that's really beautiful. Okay, so that is the face done. It'll do. the hair probably isn't salvageable. It's fine. I slept in plaits because my hair was wet and now it's gone all like, whoa. I think I'm going to wear this dress because it's my favourite, or one of my favourites. I love the colour, love the cut, love the fact that it's got long sleeves so I'll be warm enough. And as you can see, because they're still sticking out, it's got pockets. And then these are what I mentioned before. They kind of look like tights. Do you see that? Like they look like they've got skin showing, but they're fleece lined. And so they look sort of dressy, but they're really, really warm. So let's get ready to go. So this is my finished outfit for going out on my birthday today. I realise you can't actually see my shoes, but they're very cool too. It's got pockets so I can stick my mask in while on my phone and have a look. They're big enough to put whole hands in and everything. That's very unusual in dresses. And I'm loving the long sleeves as well. It's going to keep me warm while we're out and about. I am going to put a jacket on. I'm not like going out like this, that would be freezing. Monday, 6 AM UK time. As always, I will be back here doing my weekly vlog. I'd love for you to join me for that. But it is going to be a little bit different in tone to my usual ones. I do try and keep things on the positive side here, but next week I will be talking to you about the worst experience of my life. So that's something to look forward to. I would love for you to join me for that, but I do understand if you would rather skip it until the week after when I will be much more positive again, I promise. I will also be here, as always, daily on the shorts, telling you what I'm grateful for, starting the day off right with a great big deep breath. And I would love for you to join me for that because it does make the whole day go just so much more smoothly. I will also be here, assuming that I haven't killed it already, on Tuesday to check in with Dave the Terrarium on my Terrarium Tuesdays playlist, just to see if he's gone mouldy or not yet. Touch wood. At the time of filming, it is still okay, and I might have cracked it. I might not be killing Dave. That would be brilliant because I did kill the last terrarium that I made quite spectacularly, but also a lot more quickly than I've killed this one, so maybe this one's going to be fine. So come and join me in the mornings, let me know what you're grateful for, take a great big deep breath with me. I love to see you there, but until then, you have yourself a magical week.